We will go ahead into the First Response Service Committee. First of all, we're going to go ahead and take roll again. Judy Kerr. Chris Gregory. Linda Bruce. Shane Burton. Here. Brian Crook. David Nollner. Here. David Thomas. Steve Whitaker. Okay. We've got the minutes from last month. Well, I'm sorry, not last month, month before, attached. If anybody wants to go ahead and approve those, read over them. Okay, we have a motion to approve in a second. Go ahead and look over the agenda, see if there's anything you want to add, take away from, or approve.
I would like to discuss with everyone a possibility. I mean, I want to add it to the agenda to discuss the ambulance service. But I want to bring up something specific. Okay.
All right, do we have a motion in a second? Okay, we have a motion. To set the agenda. Second from Linda. All in favor? Any opposed? Okay, so we did just get a packet from the EMS, their numbers. And I am going to guess that this second part is their new billing. Does anybody have any questions over what was given to us? Chris?
Matt, just off top of your head, how do the March and I guess those 2 months that we have with the billing service numbers, how do those compare to like what we did last year doing it ourselves? Are they similar, or is there a increase, decrease, or?
Okay, so I guess the first question that I have is the ambulance, you didn't want to include it in this year's budget? You were going to hold off on it?
Give it another year, I guess.
And are you currently using very many of your PRNs? The run reports, they haven't been being turned in? Do we know about what happened there? I got from admin building, there weren't run reports unless, do you turn anything into City Hall about your runs? Only that, nothing separate. Okay. Okay, I misunderstood then. Okay, and we can go on into the budget. Okay, from what I am understanding, what we're looking at is a vacation payout from people that have left the ambulance service, and then it's an overlap of new people coming in, and that's why we weren't able to include them in doing the budget this time.
Are you referring to the budget amendment that the budget committee deferred last month? Okay, I think that's what she's referring to, not the budget itself. Was that? Uh,
Just what is going to be the plan for that or the outcome as far as all that goes?
I don't set that line item. I've never been asked to calculate those figures, so I didn't come up with that number.
So there were people leaving that needed to get their vacation turned in?
Whatever your situation is, whatever vacation time you've accrued while you've worked here gets paid out to you. So it's depending on how long you've been here, you get 24 hours a month. So if you've been here for 2 years and you haven't used any vacation, you could have a sizable amount, I guess, of vacation time that they pay out. So you get lump sums paid out 3 or 4 times of several $1,000s. Like, that's an HR question, really. I couldn't.
uh, Matt, one question about the vacation payouts. I know you say, it's something we do. If I remember correctly, I don't think Tennessee requires that vacation be paid out. Is that something that generally counties do, or is that just something we've always done? I mean, do we know what other departments around us do in that regard?
I really don't know what other counties do. It's in our policy book or our employee handbook. I honestly thought it was only if you gave a 2 week notice, but I looked up the policy and it's anybody that leaves apparently under any circumstance. Really, doesn't look like it. Maybe something to revisit in personnel.
I think a question like that was asked during the meetings, and they said even if they were terminated or something, that they still would get paid out. I think that's what probably the guidelines he's looking at.
I know Charleston County itself, other departments, everyone accrues sick leave and annual leave. Y'all may call it something different. And what you haven't used when you quit or retire, you do get paid for it. I mean, I've got weeks of leave built up where I work. And I know people who have retired from the county who gets their leave time paid. So I do think that he's right. That's a personnel issue if we're questioning it.
Okay, that's fine. Who's on personnel right now? I'm just thinking she may have to bring this policy up if they want to discuss it at the next meeting. Okay, does anybody have any questions? I'm sorry.
On that subject.
Yes, period. For the ambulance, you do? Go ahead.
I think it would be good for this committee to do an investigation into this amount of overtime. It's a large amount of overtime, and I'm not saying it's not needed. I'm not saying it's not valid. But we need to know. I would like for us to get 12 months of everyone's, when they worked, what days they worked, everyone who worked, when part-time worked. I would like to get all that information so we can tabulate it and see if there's a better way where we don't have, this is a huge amount of overtime every year. And it may be perfect.
For whatever reason, this is never understood when I explained it, but there's automatically 10,000, almost 10,000 hours of overtime built into the schedule already. That's just how it works. It's just 10,000. If you look at the numbers, we're about 6% under budget in overtime. So I don't understand all the overtime's out of control scenario when we're under budget on overtime. So I have a hard time wrapping my head around it. But, when people are off work and we only got a handful of PRN people, and we can either shut an ambulance down, not have one, or somebody can work overtime and keep 2 trucks up. So it's whatever y'all want to do, just let me know.
Right, during the budget committees, that was looked at closely, and people including me, a lot of us didn't understand it. And it's our responsibility to understand those kind of things. So we just want to understand it.
I don't know how else to explain it to where everybody can understand. There's overtime built into it because you work 24-hour shift. So you're either working 96 hours in a pay period or 120 hours in a pay period. So there's just overtime is just part of the schedule.
Committee, and I will be glad to gather the documents needed, which will be a lot of documents. And we can analyze them and make a report to whomever of our findings to, we're responsible. We're responsible for that department. And we need to know where the money's going, what it's going for, why this much overtime is needed. So I'd like to make a motion to, I guess, be allowed to gather the documents and then we'll all diagnose them.
Yeah, well, I said the thing with the overtime has been discussed at length, almost ad nauseum. Um, like, there have been options thrown out there. It's been mentioned, okay, maybe we do 12-hour shifts. Well, 24 hour is the standard in the industry. That's probably not going to work real well. Like Mr. Beatty said, we could go down an ambulance and only run one. I don't think that's particularly a good idea, especially in a growing county. One other option that's been mentioned at least before was instead of having them be hourly employees, put them on salary. You want to hear a great big uproar that we can do that. That will probably cause an uproar up there. But if we want to go that route, that's something that could be looked at. But I mean, I don't know that we really have a lot of good options. Like I said, it's the way the industry is set up. There's going to be overtime. There's not really a whole lot we can do about it, I don't think.
My intention is for us to know where the money's going. And we've got the proposal from the county from the hospital, that knowing this information fully should allow us to make more educated recommendations on the other.
We already, see, he said there we go, he's already under budget on overtime. I think that's doing real good, doing good management work by keeping it as low as he can, but
Did anybody want to second Judy's motion or?
No, I mean, I will just
Okay.
point out there's really no need for a motion. If anyone on this committee wants any information in that regard, find a time to go see Chief Beatty and he'll get you whatever information you need. I mean,
That's not where I'd go. I would assume, and I am making an assumption, that to get time, it would come from Amy. And I would want the committee to stand behind me. No, I don't want to go out and do an investigation on my own. If the committee doesn't want to stand behind me and I know how the reaction was in the budget committee. It wasn't a good reaction. Wanted to be able to give some facts. If no one wants, and what I said was I'd be willing to do that initial legwork, but if no one wants to second it, I'll drop it. I have no problem with that.
I think if you were going to pursue that information, the HR department would be where I would go. Since just everything's goes through there, she'd be able to print a report.
Are we ready to wrap up EMS ambulance service? Does anybody have any additional thoughts? Okay, we will move on to rescue squad. Okay, so what it looks like we have here is, these look like possible POs, purchase orders. And then with our fire marshal grant of 9,000 and 5,000 radios and pagers, that equal $14,000. Also, if you want to go into the packet and look at rescue's budget and see if you have any questions. I can tell you that under rescue squad, there is something that's 505% of the expenditure. That's the column all the way on the end. And that is because of the timing that it was paid out. That is actually 2 years worth. And so that's why it looks so large. And then down below in the communication equipment 708, that is the grant money that I just discussed. That was all that I saw that stood out to me with their budget. When you read them, everything 300 and below can come out in the wash together. It can cover itself. Anything above is when you have to move funds. So if you draw your line underneath employer Medicare, then everything here can take care of it, of each other. So, and there's plenty over here to do that. Does everyone see what I'm talking about? Okay. Questions over what we were given? No questions? Okay, Rescue, do you have anything to add? And these are purchase orders, is that what right? Okay. The purchase orders are whenever they want to buy something, they go up to the admin building, get with Amy and fill out a purchase order request. If there's anybody that doesn't know how those go. And then that's how it's taken out of their line items. Okay, no questions. Okay,
Couldn't do the PRN paperwork
It's not a regular schedule.
in a month.
I couldn't say. It just depends on people are off or not. So it's varies.
Right.
And if,
Less than 5 hours, more than 30?
oh, they usually work a 24-hour shift. So I mean, when they do work, it's 24 hours. But they got other jobs too. I mean, they only work here when it's convenient for them. We're
I
not.
understand. That's why I'm asking how often.
I couldn't say exactly. I mean, there's one here, there's one working today. So I mean,
So do we need to hire other PRN people?
it wouldn't hurt.
I think that's where the problem is.
Need more people.
PRN people should work the overtime before the employee.
Well, they're offered it first and if nobody takes it and we don't have any other choice. That's just,
Correct. And certainly you would have to. But are they asked how, are they asked every time?
yeah, that's who we start with. We have I mean, unless it's somebody's sick, which we can't pre-plan for, a vacation, people, we put it out as soon as we know that there's gonna be somebody off.
okay, we will move on to the fire department. And what they gave us in our packets. So right off the bat, I am seeing we need an update on the building. Fire department. See where we're at with building on to the existing fire department. And then information on the radio programming.
Ken, what can you tell us about where we are in the building process?
Commissioner Gregory, we are waiting on the commission. It's in the budget, but the budget has to be approved, and then I'm ready to start July 1st. It happens to be in a fund that I think there was a mystery $600,000 came out of, and then the question became, are you going to have enough money? So I'm just waiting to see if that money gets approved in the new budget.
Yeah, the money should be there. basically it was moved from 101 to the capital projects fund in the upcoming budget, but the money should be there. I mean, that's basically what we did with the radio tower. The remaining ARPA money is moving over into 171 with the expectation that will fund most, if not all, of the radio towers. So kind of same thing. The money should be there. I would, and I mean, we put the radio tower out for bid for the sheriff's department, without knowing it was going to come from 171. We just we would move it over when the time comes. So I mean, I guess I would get with Jack and Amy and say, go ahead and get it bid. This would be my thought.
I already have the RFQs and the engineers pricing, everything that they're going to oversee the project and get the bids with the RFQ and engineer. I'm ready to go. I just need the funds. That's all I need, honestly.
You got me on the acronym. What is the RFQ?
Request for qualifications. There's an engineer that's going to handle this whole project and we've already accepted them. Be behind the fire hall. If you go behind it, there's a concrete slab and there's a grass area that extends towards Broadway Apartments. It's going to hit the side of the concrete slab and extend towards Broadway Apartments, the width of what's left of the building, 43 feet by 85 feet.
What's a Mayday practical scenario?
We discovered, many departments have discovered Mayday drills are something that's not done very often. And when they happen, nobody knows how to react. We actually had a vector course for Mayday that teaches you how to react to a Mayday call, stay off the radio, evacuate the building, activate a RIT team, how to use your radio, who can call a Mayday, when you can call it. Mayday is something that you use not only when you're in trouble, but if you see someone else in trouble in a scene somewhere. Could be you ran out of water, it could be you fell through a floor, it could be a wall fell on you. But nobody practices it. So when it happens in real life, you can listen to all kinds of scenarios where firefighters die because nobody knows how to react. So we actually train on that at least once a year.
Okay, tell us a little bit about the radio programming.
The radio programming issue came about, as you heard from Rescue, they've come up with a much more cost-effective supplier for radios. It's going to be difficult to get them programmed because our current vendor, we've discovered when he programmed our radios, he put a password in it that only he has. I have thus far not been able to get that password. In fact, it's taken me 2 months to get part of the information under our mutual aid agreement with Lafayette Fire. They would program our dispatch frequencies in their radios. I haven't even got a complete set of information from our vendor to give them. For us, it's not a big deal. For them, the programming may get more costly. In the event of a large-scale disaster, there's a possibility that TEMA or FEMA might send a truck down here, program some frequencies in our radios for mutual aid. They can't get in it because of the password. I've taken mine to 2 different programmers, and it looks like it may also be encrypted, and we don't have the encryption either. Talked to Kenwood International in New York, and there's nothing they can do about it except we can send all the radios to them and they can wipe them out and we can start over again. The problem with that is if it is encrypted, then they become useless. So we don't know what to do other than pay this man the price he's asking, and I don't know where to turn. he's roughly 30% higher from what I'm seeing on his prices and what they can get it for. At fire department doesn't have a problem yet. But I can see it coming. If we need to modify the rate, we can't do it. We have to have him do it, pay him whatever he charges.
My thought too was maybe our county attorney could maybe reach out to the vendor or something to try to get the password or whatever needed. Right, right. That's what I had my button pushed to say the same thing. Maybe they could reach out to the vendor and maybe have better luck with it.
So my thought firstly was to have a discussion with Chief Cawthorn. Because of his relationship with the 911 board and because of the number of radios and repeaters, and he handles the towers and that, he may actually have more pull than I do before we go into the legal part of it. But I'm wondering if that wouldn't be the best way to go, would to explain to Chief Cawthorn what the issue is and see if he can do something first before we go that route. And if he can't, maybe then we go farther. And my only problem is I want to catch this before it becomes a problem. Yeah, I just, like I said, I want to make y'all aware that and this password protection appears to be countywide. So that'd not be just fire and rescue. That's going to be EMS, sheriff, everybody. Because the same guy does them all. So I wanted to make you aware of it. And again, yes, if I need to contact the attorney, if that's your advice, I don't mind. I'd like to go through Wayland first, though, if that's okay. We don't know because it's password protected. We can't get to it.
Did this fella used to be on the ambulance service? Did this fella used to be on the ambulance service?
No. This is a company. It's a Kenwood authorized dealer in Nashville. We used to use one in Cookville. I don't know. I think he might have went out of business. The fellas they found, like I said, they're 30% cheaper relatively on everything. So they're going to use that's how they got so many radios on the grant. That's how we discovered this. Because I just been using the guy down there. And now come to find out I probably could have got a more cost-effective price going with somebody else, except for now we've discovered nobody else can get in the radios.
So if the password changes and the sheriff's department doesn't change theirs, can y'all still?
It won't affect it. Yes, the password is to get in and modify the program. So no, the encryption is the problem. If there's encrypted channels and I have Kenwood International wipe the radios clean, and then our program is reprogrammed with the information that's available to the public. The one thing that's not available to the public is the encryption. So if they are, we may have radios that don't work at all, and then we just have to pay him to put it back in again. So that's what I'm saying. I think Wayland might be better to get I think he might be better to get the information we need. In other words, I'm going to give you, for instance, when I asked him for this gentleman, I asked him for the frequencies for Lafayette Fire. He would not send me the file. At the time, Mark Baylor was still the chief. He sent Mark Baylor the file. He refused to send it to me. That's fine. He sent it to Mark in an encrypted file that nobody could open. And actually seemed like he thought that was kind of comical that he sent us the information. It didn't matter. We couldn't open it. So there's been some very heated discussions in the last 8 months over this.
Okay, I am currently looking over the statistics sheet. How much do you think our per diem is gonna go up?
According to the average, when I first filled out the budget sheet, it was gonna be $97,000. Last month, it got down to 89,000 by average because we'd slowed down. As of right now, it's averaging at 72,000, so it's going downhill. I'm thinking and I hate to figure out because you never know what's gonna happen, but I'm thinking we're probably gonna be in the low to mid 70s, depending on how much more training we send people off to do.
How many first responders do we have right now?
First responders, ma'am, well, as far as
That when the call goes out, shows up. Mm-hmm.
20, we have 25 members.
Is there anybody that's been through the, I think it's EMR to be a first responder?
We got one or two that went to the EMT class. They're also members of rescue, but I don't think we've had an EMR class that I'm aware of. They're doing EMT classes now.
Okay. My reason in asking is to just make sure that people that are not emergency responders, that they don't go to calls and touch a patient before the emergency services get there.
Fire department doesn't respond to medical calls.
I don't, like, even, like, all they do is just do the lift assist.
Fire department doesn't go to medical calls. We don't even do lift assist. That rescue does that.
Okay. Timmy, I thought it was, because y'all are the same. Okay. The only request that the medical director said was that if you have personnel that are out there to help with any type of scenario involving a civilian person, if they just don't lay hands on the person until medical response is there. Not that you can't, because I was under the understanding at one point in time that there wasn't anybody that was supposed to be out there at all touching patients if they weren't emergency responders. But that is not the case. The case is just that somebody touches them first before they do, because they're a layperson. So I just wanted to toss that out there. I think I misunderstood. With their budget, do we have any additional questions?
Ms. Russell. For, especially for Commissioner Gregory here. Being the last month of the year, I kind of pride myself on this. If you look at the line 320, there's going to be a $50 fee for fire marshal's office. That check was sent yesterday. If you look down at the 171.25 outstanding, that's already been received and should be paid. The 93.76 that's outstanding has already been received and should be paid. The 500 has already been received and should be paid. And the bottom 827.28 is an overestimate on a PO, and that'll be cleared out without being paid. which means our budget is going to be clear, and we do not plan on spending any more money this year except for gasoline and utilities.
Okay, so we are recognized by that $50 fee did go out to the fire marshal. Okay, I think that's every 3 years.
Every 3 years, yes. I just filled the paperwork out Monday or Tuesday and had the mayor sign it, and Amy's supposed to send a check out yesterday
Good.
with it.
Okay. All right, anybody have any additional questions? Think we've run Ken pretty dry. Okay. Motion to adjourn? Second? All right, we'll end meeting.